Hey, twin. How's your day going so far? Mine's been pretty freaking amazing, I must say. I'll get into it pretty soon, but I didn't end up going hiking today because I had wanted to drive somewhere where I've never been before, which is like 5 hours away. And I was gonna leave at midnight, and I set a 3-hour alarm for a nap because I wanted to get out there when the sun rises. And I don't know how it happened, but I slept through the alarm and somehow it turned itself off, which my phone never does that. So then I woke up at I think it was 4:10 in the morning, and I look at my phone and I'm like, oh crap, I overslept. But part of me didn't really want to drive out there. I mean, I am all for adventure and exploring new places and everything, but it was just, I think it was also because it's a holiday and I tend to avoid touristy kind of places when it's holidays. So I ended up coming to Seal Beach. Right now I'm over by Huntington because I ate dinner at the pier, but which at Duke's the fish and chips are good. I liked the slaw that they have. The fries, I don't like them. And then I've never had mahi fish and chips before. I love mahi. Oh my goodness, grilled mahi is so good. But I think the frying kind of dried it out a little, but it's still pretty good. I liked it, and the lychee lemonade they have is good too. I like to go back and try some other things that they have, but anyways, I went to Seal Beach, and all throughout today, I was driving out to the beach, and I was almost to the freeway. I was almost to the 60 freeway, and I was waiting at a major light. And as I was about to go, because the light turned green, and I see crows all the time. They follow me everywhere. I give them peanuts. I leave peanuts wherever I go, so they follow me everywhere. But as I was about to go, this male crow was looking right at me and was flying from the stoplight down to land on my car, on the hood. And I was like, oh, Bubby, I gotta go. And I was going, and he got startled, and he flew to the median and landed on there. And I was like, okay, that crow wanted to land on my car right now. So I was like, So I drove out to Seal Beach, and I ended up missing the exit that I was supposed to get, but it all worked out anyway, because the exit that I ended up getting was I basically kind of did a little out of the ways, but it worked out perfectly anyway, because I ended up right where I wanted to be, and I was at Seal Beach. And so I was because my dad's family and I would always come out to Bolsa Chica. They like to go hang out there. But in high school, every year from sophomore year to senior year, we would go to do cleanup at the end of the year in our broadcast journalism academy. And I just have a lot of really great memories at Seal Beach. And one of my favorite teachers who was in the academy, he lived at Seal Beach, and he would go surfing every year in Baja with his friends. But he ended up passing away, I believe it was my senior year. from prostate cancer. And he was really cool. Like, he could read past lives, and he was very much someone that understood that we're all one. He had given me the anthology CDs of the Ramones towards the end of sophomore year. And he's like, I think you'll do more with these than I will. He's like, someone gave these to me, but I don't really know what to do with them. He's like, I feel I should give them to you. And I was just like, oh, okay, thank you. And yeah, they ended up getting lost by my former husband, because one time he was going to work and he had my whole book of CDs. I was letting him listen to my CDs, and he put them on top of his car and drove off, and they all got lost. But like I said, anything can be lost, stolen, or broken. All you can take with you are memories. All you can take with you are imprints. There's not really much else you can. So I take with me the admiration and gratitude that I have for my teacher, for my instructor, for a spirit guide that was once on my path to go on, to continue on. And so when I got to Seal Beach and I parked, immediately all of the crows began to gather. They were just flying all around, and I was like, hey guys, I talked to them, they listen to me. So I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna put peanuts under the car. Don't tell the gulls, okay? Like, just be chill and get your peanuts. So I took some and put them under the bumper because I didn't want the gulls to see them. And as soon as I put them under the bumper, they immediately grouped right by my car, and they were like hanging out, and I was looking at them, so I backed up some more, that way that they would, get closer. Then out of nowhere, this raven comes and swoops in, and he's like, all the other crows back up, and he's like looking at the peanuts, and he's like wondering if he should go or not. He wants to go, but he doesn't want to go because he doesn't know if it's a trap, So I was like, look, Bubby, here, let me move the peanuts out for you guys. I go, because the gulls had already come. They were starting to fly around, and I was just like, fuck it. So I pulled the peanuts out, and even though the gulls were around, they wouldn't come near. And like those that would try to come near, I look at them like, what are you doing? And then they would turn around and act like I'm not here. It was just really funny. And then and if I'd like snap my fingers, then they'd like be like, oh, what, me? No. But the raven, he would not let the other crows go. He was just going and getting them. And then he'd grab a bunch in his mouth, and he flew off to the apartments that were on the other side of the parking lot to go gorge himself. And then I was just laughing because then there'd be like a couple peanuts left, and so the crows that were there, they'd grab them. So then I was like, okay, let me get some more. So I got some more peanuts out, and I was throwing them on the grass for the other crows. And sure enough, the raven was coming. He was like pushing the other crows out of the way. And he was getting pretty close to me. Like, he wouldn't take the peanut from my hand, but if I threw it like maybe a foot away from me on the floor, he came up to it and he would eat it. And then because it's like, what, she's got food, she's not gonna do anything to me. But it was just really cool that, like, and then the crows, they were They're like, hey, we want some more. So I was like, well, you can meet me on the beach. But then I was there and I was like, dude, they don't have anywhere to land out here. They don't like sand. So they're not going to come out here. I mean, I rarely ever see crows on the beach. Maybe I have seen them. I can't recall which beach it was. I've been to a lot of beaches. I just love the beach. But, mostly they're not going to go out there. So I did leave some peanuts for them when I left. It was dark already, so I knew they were sleeping around the palms that I know they're sleeping in, so that they could find them in the morning tomorrow. And I'll see them again when I come back out here. But there was just been like, I'm noticing a lot lately, people just riding around with no headlights on. And it's like, apparently they're called phantom vehicles. And 1155, as I said that, thank you, universe, but they're called phantom vehicles because it's like you see them but you don't. And it's just bringing up a lot for me of like Two of Swords energy, where a lot of readers will say that Two of Swords is about indecisiveness or crossroads or unwilling to see, which yes, the Two of Swords does embody that energy. But for me, because in the Murder of Crows, it's a woman holding two crows and she has a blindfold on, and in that it tells me to trust the unseen, to trust that things are moving forward, that progress is being made, and that you're on the path that you should be on in the time that you're in it, because you're going to the places that you should be and meeting the people that you should be meeting. And it's come to a point where whoever you meet, just stop jumping to conclusions about who they mean to you, what they mean to your life, because the less expectations that you put on that connection, the deeper it will become. The deeper it will allow it will allow it to flourish into something deeper for you. Whereas before, it would be a lot of forcing connections, and so it led to a lot of superficiality and what looks good on the outside, what appears to be acceptable by societal standards, right? By outdated conditioning, I would say, because we are society, and society is changing, society is evolving, society is transforming and transmutating, because this generation, the generation that this collective exists in, is a catalyst generation, is one that brings forth immense change and transformation within the 3D. I have said before, you can't change the 3D, you can only be above it so that it must meet you, and that in itself is changing it. That in itself is shifting it. This whole collective, this whole generation is we're basically tasked with fucking shit up. We're tasked with flipping over all the rocks. We're tasked with shining lights in all the dark corners. We're tasked with giving the world a new perspective, giving society a rebirth. 1551, as I said that. Thank you, universe. So I was looking at my birth chart because, yeah, I mean, all these energies and entities and deities and this and that and pendulums and blah, 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 and all this information and data that's out in the wild, you know, the law of grace and all that, law of grace, law of karma, law of attraction, all of those laws, universal things, all of this manifestation, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff is just here for whoever wants to pick it up, for whoever wants to take it with them. It's not so much about the experience, it's what you take with you. So, you know, me having experienced grooming and molestation for the first 10 years, and sexual assault for the first 10 years of my life, that's not integrated into my identity. I am aware of it. You know, I have brought it to the light, right? I have brought it from the darkness into the light, where others would have rather to kept it. And I said, you know what? This is what happened. I'm going to leave it here and I'm going to continue on. But I'm going to know, it's called forgive and forget. Forgive that it happened. Forget that you knew them and move on. Continue on. But as you continue on, you've had that experience to recognize those patterns when they start to pop up in other aspects of your life or for others around you. And it's your duty to say, hey, I see this pattern. Perhaps we should talk about it. Perhaps we should look at it some more. You know, the more we talk about things and bring them out into the open, the more that we can stop. The more that we can change, right? The more that we can evolve. So the generation that I'm speaking about, because I'll put the link in the description box. There's no affiliation. It's completely free. It's astroseek.com. Like, I just am sharing information with all of you guys as my duty. And it's best if you know your exact birth time and your birthplace. If you don't know the exact time, that's okay, but it does, narrow it down a little bit more. But basically, my birth chart, and I'll post a picture of it at the end, it forms a bowl. There is an obtuse angle in my birth chart because my birth chart is heavily Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Taurus placements. My rising is Leo. My descending is Aquarius. And I also have Aries and Gemini, which makes a lot of sense because my Chiron is in Gemini. And Gemini is about twins, which I also saw 2 sets of twins. I believe it was on Tuesday. I had to go run some errands on my lunch at the office, and I went to Best Buy. And immediately upon walking in, I saw 2 sets of male twins, 2 brothers. One had long hair, the other he had shoulder length hair. And then I saw another set of male twins. They were younger. They were like maybe 13 or 14 years old. And they both had the same exact haircut. And when you see twins, it's a lot about balance, duality, and repairing relationships. So Yeah, it just makes when you look at your birth chart, it just gives you another perspective. It gives you insight. It's also another form of shadow work, because the placements say a lot about this main placement that I want to talk about. So the generation is 1983 to 1995, and from mid to late August in 1984, Pluto retrograded into Libra. But basically, from 1983 to 1995, Pluto was in Scorpio. And this is a huge placement. And as I've said before in a previous video, which when you find it, please comment down below, because I don't remember which one it is. But if you have Scorpio anywhere in your chart, it is your duty to be a bridge. It is your duty to transmute darkness into light. You are the prism. You are that focal point where light transmits. Where light emanates. 22. Anyways, so when you find your birth chart, you'll see this description, because it is generational. Because I believe it is, yes, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are the slowest moving planets in the zodiac, and so they last for generations within certain, during their placements. So Pluto in Scorpio is in its own sign, which is intense, passionate, and deeply transformative. This generation is born with a heightened awareness of life's darker truths: death, power, sexuality, and emotional extremes. They are drawn to what is hidden, forbidden, or taboo. Many become spiritual seekers, healers, and alchemists. Psychologically, they often wrestle with control, obsession, and fear of loss. However, they are equipped to handle the abyss and come out wiser. Their personal evolution often involves surrendering old identities, facing psychological death, and rising anew. This is the generation of shadow work, sexual healing, and transmutation through raw soul-level confrontation. Since Scorpio rules the 4th house, which means these beings carry ancestral or family patterns that require deep excavation and change. The early home may have been a place of power struggles, emotional intensity, or psychological complexity. There may be an unconscious pull to control the private world or to resist being emotionally vulnerable. When they face and process their inner inheritance, they become a source of generational healing. So yes, we are tasked with giving our bloodlines, our lineages, our progeny, what we didn't have. We are the parents to ourselves that we always wanted as children. And those of us who already have children, we make sure that we all say and do things in error. That's fine. There's margin for that. But it's like, how soon do you come back to center? How soon do you apologize? How soon do you say, hey, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. It's like, yeah, you can't take words back. You can't take actions back. But you can amend. You can atone, right? But anyways, it's like we are creating the spaces and the places for children to grow and thrive safely. Whereas it's like, you can't take anyone's lived experience away from them, but to prevent those, the like primal, how can I say, the most prevalent traumas that occur during childhood, if you can mitigate that, put an end to it, if you will, the generations that come will have less and less need to do shadow work, in the sense of, you know, PTSD, CPTSD, all those more heavy sort of challenges. It's like, I've heard the saying, what is it called? What is it? Easy times breed weak men. It's something about, like, basically, if things are too easy, then you get weak and soft. And like, and then it just ties back to like my video when I went hiking on Sunday in Monrovia, how the kid said, you know, to see something beautiful, you have to go through the pain. And the dad was like, not always, but when you get there, you feel better about it. It's because, like, you put effort, you put, yeah, I want easy, soft life. Who doesn't? But it's like, you're no stranger to hard work. And it's kind of to the point where it's like, even hard work is not hard for you, because you've already done it, you've already experienced it, you've already gone through it, and you come to this point where you're like, okay, what's next? Like, literally, you know that if you can't get down in the trenches, you have no place sitting on a throne. So you are humble enough to do the work that should be done for the results, for the benefits of not only yourself, but others around you. And it's like, the other night I did a live tarot reading, and I never done that before. I was really nervous. And I cut it kind of short because, like, I saw some comments that was like, oh, okay, I might turn off the comments the next time. But I kind of want to, like, let people ask me questions. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, like, at the end of the reading, it was, I was using the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck that I had just got for an event that I'm doing on December 6th. So if you're in Los Angeles, come visit me at the Little Tokyo Galleria from 12 to 5, I think it is, and get a reading with the deck. It's pretty cute. But yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas was like a huge part of this generation's childhood, this collective's childhood. And there's so many parallels and correlations with a lot that's going on the path currently, with a lot that's going on in your experience, twin. And at the end of the reading, it was the King of Presents, and yeah, it was that the King of Pentacles is no stranger to hard work, because he knows that the amount of effort you put in is going to yield gold. As an alchemist, you understand that it's all about alignment, and that's your magic. But those were just some things that I was reflecting on today, and just wanting to share my gratitude with you, twin, for you being here and doing all the work that you're doing, all the preparations that you're making for what's up ahead. I'm just so proud of you, and I couldn't ask for a better being than you. So I just got home and I realized I didn't complete my thought about my birth chart and something else that I wanted to say, twin. So it's all my placements are mostly one side of the zodiac, and you'll see that I believe it's a trine. So I have what's known as, like, basically my birth chart indicates that I am neurodivergent, that my birth chart shows neurodivergence. And I forgot, was it Dolores Cannon, or there's some other spiritual guide, some other spiritual guide that she spoke about, that noticing most children, when she looked at their birth charts, that those with ADHD and on the spectrum, they had their birth charts looked a certain way. So, it's advised that if your birth chart is heavy on one side, then it's great to embody the energies on the opposite side of the circle. So my Leo is my rising sign, so my descending sign is Aquarius, and it's just been very interesting turn of events here for everybody, because I'm no longer, all boundaries apply to everybody, even me. I wouldn't ask anything of anyone else that I wouldn't do myself. But it also was something that came to me, was be obtuse. And when someone calls you obtuse, it can mean you're dull or slow-witted or stupid, basically. But for me, I'm creating a new meaning here. They can add this to Webster's or whatever. But to be obtuse is to be too much. It's to be, because obtuse in geometry is a wide angle. It's wider than 90 degrees. So the wider you go, the bigger the angle, the more surface area that you have. And that just has a lot to do with your view of life, twin. You see the bigger picture of things. You don't, you can focus, you can hyper focus on things. You're very meticulous, but it's the fact that you will take a step back and look at the bigger picture. And that's what a lot of people on the spectrum tend to do, is they I believe it's called building from the ground up, to process and problem solve and critical thinking and all those great skills. There's a, there we go. So I took the keys out. So yeah, but I'll just finish up here. But to be obtuse is to be too much. To be obtuse is to also be inclusive, because you have a wider surface area. You have a larger, a larger space to fill, right? And that's because you're on the frequency of expansion, twin. You are too much. You are a big fish in a small pond. And there's erosion happening right now. There is a pathway being carved out for you so that you can go forward into larger territories, into larger waters, because you're only meant to grow further. You're only meant to expand farther, twin. This is only the beginning. You've seen nothing yet. So, as we know, a shark will only grow as big as its surroundings. And it's just been coming up a lot lately for me, the shark energy. And it's just, I know a lot about sharks. Females are bigger than males. My eldest was heavily into sharks as a child. You can ask him anything. We watch Shark Week every year. But that's just the energy that's been coming up, is that you've grown to your capacity where you are right now, twin. And so the leeway that was there is now beginning to widen. It's beginning to get bigger and bigger, because there's no way but forward for you. What you're now that you've accessed too much, there's no going back. Now that you've accessed too much, you have a great responsibility to continue forward. Just like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So now that you've accessed all this power within you, twin, it's your responsibility to share it. It's your responsibility to widen your platform so that others may join you when they're ready in their appointed time, but in their appointed alignments. But that's what's happening for all of us. And it's a really amazing time right now. I'm just so excited, even with just all the silliness. I saw the most spiritual thing you can do is to have fun. And that's why we're here, right? I also have seen empathy is more rebellious than a middle finger. But I've also seen empathy is as beautiful as a rock in a cop's face. I do no harm, but I take no shit, okay? Anyways, yeah, I'm pretty sleepy, so I'm gonna go inside now. But I'll see you soon, twin. Love ya.